When it comes to presentations, practicing is the number one thing that people tend to overlook, mostly because they are refining the slides until the last minute. And guess what? When you do that, if you have that approach, then there's no time left for you to practice. And this gets in the way of your presentation success. Now, this might be hurtful to hear, but a bad looking presentation plus practice trumps a great looking presentation slides minus practice. Now, this is of course in the case that you're actually trying to deliver your presentation. So if you out of the blue just start sharing that slide deck with people, of course the one that looks better is nicer, but we're talking about actually delivering a presentation real time to your audience. Bad looking presentation plus practice is always much better than great looking presentations minus the practice. Now, I'm sure that you know that you need to practice your presentation, but there's always not time. It takes a lot of effort. Who has the time? We get comfortable and we don't do this. And then we wing it instead of acing it. So in this video, I want to show you 3 ways that you can implement from today in order to improve your presentation practicing process. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It has to be a little bit better every time, and the outcome is just tremendous. The first thing that you need to get clear in your head is that you need to avoid to expect that you need to present word by word. So one of the worst presentation advice I heard a few years ago from actually somebody quite mature in their journey. That person said that if you are nervous about your presentation, if you are worried that you're not going to deliver well, at least just write it out. So write the script and then memorize it. It's the worst thing you can tell someone who's trying to improve their presentations, who are nervous about giving that presentation and delivering it, because scripting is never the answer. So I'm begging you, avoid creating scripts for your presentations. Here's why having a script is detrimental for any presentation process. Because your brain gets lazy. Because if you have everything written down, if you have already a script down at the back of your head somewhere, then your brain doesn't really try to generate information, generate new words, verbs, and sentences on the fly, because in your head, automatically and subconsciously, there's something that you can return to whenever you want. And all of this makes you read out of those notes and scripts in your presentation instead of actually talking to the audience and connecting with them. So you want to move away from memorizing your presentation all the way into generating it when you are delivering it to your audience. And having a script does not help you on this journey, because when you're writing a script, you're writing the most perfect way that presentation could go. Am I right? We will write all the nice sentences. You start from here, you go there, as if you are going to read it out. But you are not a robot. You are not going to read off the script, because if that was the case, who would need you? Other people would just read the script, and we don't really need you to present that to us, okay? So in the world of AI, we need to be able to show that human side and actually connect with our audience, meaning that we need to generate our sentences, our words, our verbs to the audience real time when we are interacting with them. But once you have a script, then the perfectionist within you comes up. Whenever you're making a mistake, whenever you say a word a little different than what you had already in your head, you will stop. You will stop and you want to go back to the notes. Whereas you want to be in a situation where you start generating as you go. Now, the fix to this is to get rid of the script altogether and never go back to it again. So you're not an actress, okay? You're not an actor. You are a presenter. You deliver your presentation. You co-create that presentation real time with your audience. So you need to work with a blueprint. You need to work with a mind map that you have hopefully created before you even created your slides. So with the people in my program, with my students, we always create a mind map before we even open up the slide making software. And when we want to practice again, we go back to that mind map and we start presenting and practicing without the slides to begin with. Because the slides are not going to be something for you to rely upon when you're presenting. It's only going to be a visual aid. So if the electricity goes out, if your computer gets stolen, if you do not have a presentation altogether, your presentation doesn't get canceled. You are still able to talk over it, but the slides are actually nice to have. But you still have the nice and the biggest and the crisp idea in your head, the presentation will go forward. So create that mind map for yourself, hopefully before you even start preparing for your presentation. And then practice without slides at least 4 times and be amazed by the difference that happens. Move away from memorizing all the way onto generating. That's the trick. The second point I want to make here is that you need to space out your practicing effort. So do not start practicing 30 minutes, 1 hour before your presentation. Well, of course, if you have not done any practicing at all, please go do that. But it's not the most optimum way. Again, most of the people just wing it where they have the opportunity to ace it. So when you can ace it, why would you want to wing it? So please practice and spread it out throughout time. So if you want to practice it for 4 times, 5 times, do it in a week, do it in 4 days, 5 days, because your brain needs time to connect those dots and create new pathways for you to actually learn your presentation in and out. When you want to space out your presentation, you need to think about 2 different kinds of mastery. You need to think about structural mastery and delivery mastery. Structural mastery is all about your content. It's about the substance of your message. It's about having what you want to say in your head back and forth. It's about having your message, your big idea in the presentation, in the content, in and out. You need to be able to know what you're talking about. You need to be the master of your content. So that's one. The other thing is the delivery mastery. So now you've got your content, everything's there, you know what you're going to say. You need to deliver the mastery of your presentation. And that is things like your tone, your speed. Where is your voice going to go up? Where is it going to go down? Where are you going to speak fast? When are you going to speak slow? What emotions are you going to provoke in each part of your presentation? When are you going to be fun? Where are you going to be serious? Where do you want to do what? It's about being deliberate with the experience that you want to provide to your audience. The important thing here is that if you have not mastered the structure, the content, and the substance, then please do not bother going to the delivery and the performance, because it doesn't matter. The most important thing is the content and the flow and the journey that you're taking your audience on. What is point A and what is point B that you would like your audience to be once you have finished your presentation? What is the call to action? What is the aim? So if you do not have those things, do not really care about your frequency of your voice, like how high or how low, where you're gonna pause, where you're gonna laugh. Those things don't matter. Showmanship is only important once you have the content. So showmanship and all the delivery and performance is like a nice layer or a nice topping on your content and structure. Whenever you want to practice, you want to have 2 kinds of mastery. You have structural mastery and then you've got delivery mastery. And you want to practice these both in a spaced out manner. So you practice it today, tomorrow, the day after. At least you need to sleep in between those practices for your brain to create new neural pathways. Well, if you're listening till this part of the video, I'm actually doing a side project where I'm talking to a lot of individuals to understand their pain points, their gains, their jobs to be done, whatever their experience might be with presentation and communication. If you are the one who would like to share your presentation, doesn't matter how much experience you have with it, and you would like to have your voice heard in a new solution to be created in this world about presentations, please check out the link in the comments or in the description, and then you can book a 15-minute call with me so we can both talk about and discover some of the problems and areas in your presentation. It's a pure discovery call for research. I cannot wait to meet you guys there. Now let's go to the third point, simulating the environment. In one of my prior videos, I have talked about 4 different elements of presentation. I'm gonna put it here, you guys might want to check it out because it's super insightful on the 4 elements of a presentation, being the content, the speaker, the audience, and the environment. An environment is where this practicing point comes together with. Environment is all about where your presentation is going to take place within. It's going to be online, is it going to be offline? Where is going to be the setting and the context in which you are going to present something to your audience? Not mastering the environment, especially if something new has happened. So for example, you most of the time present online, today you need to present offline, or most of the times you are presenting Microsoft Teams, today you need to present in Zoom or in Google Teams. So when something changes in the environment, that is the #1 reason for stress which you do not need as a presenter. And the environment is one of the easiest things to get rid of before your presentation and your practicing time. So you need to master the medium and the software or the environment that you are going to present within, whether that's offline, whether that's online. Whether that's offline, you might want to check out that place maybe one day before, or you might want to go there and even practice one of your presentations in that specific room. Or do you need to take are you the one who needs to get the, I don't know, the key of that room? Or do you know how the equipment in that room works? Does that really comply with my laptop? Does the screen work? Or these kind of questions, these things that you overlook will be the number one reason for you to stress, where you actually need to be stressing or at least thinking about your content, your delivery, your performance. Or if it's an online setting, you can already try to do that beforehand. Maybe you can have a practicing session in that software, or you can really simulate what could go wrong or what could happen. How do I share my screen? Does my computer even have that privacy setting, or have I really said yes to that privacy setting so that I can share my screen? How can I annotate on those slides? Or if I'm co-presenting with somebody else, do they need to click slides, next for me, or can I do it myself? So figuring these things out beforehand will be a major improvement to how you will actually look in control when you are actually giving that presentation. And in this case, always the best advice is to try to give one presentation in that specific setting. So if it's you presenting in Google Slides, do a dry run there. Or if you need to be presenting in that room, maybe reserve that room one day before and practice it there. Do not wing it when you can ace it. So now you have the three. So you want to avoid scripting it out and expecting to deliver your presentation word by word, because surprise or not, you are not a robot. You are a presenter who is going to make a connection with your audience. And that's the difference. Second, you want to master the structure and delivery and performance of your presentation, and you want to space out your practice because you need at least a couple of resting points for your brain to create new neural pathways and actually learn what you are teaching it. And third, simulate the environment. Try practicing a little bit in those environments beforehand and know the ins and outs and all the things that could go wrong in the environment, in the equipment, in the technical things. So easy to prevent. Please do that. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like button. And if you are interested in presentation and communication, subscribe to my channel. And if you are ready to share your experience in a 15-minute call with me, if it's a lot, if it's nothing, I would love to hear from you. Please check out the link in the description below and book a 15-minute call with me, pure discovery. I just want to hear your point of view. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.